So when we discuss about database or further matter any application development, mostly you will have these operations. You may name it in a different way. You may say that okay, I want a report of all the maybe employees or all the customers, right? I want to have all the transactions, or I want to register a particular user, right? Or I want to update a profile of a user, or I'm no more interested to get your emails. I want to unsubscribe. You may have different use cases, but then at the end of the day, what happens is that you are either inserting new data, creating new data into your system, or updating it, or retrieving it, or deleting it. So these are the primary operations that will happen. But you will have application logic in the sense based on your business requirement, you will implement your solution. So though the underlying operations are going to be same, but you will have some business logic around it. You will have some validations around it. So all those things will happen. So when we have to manage data, one option is that you can write the data into a file like this. You are with your application of programming, say Java or .NET or C++, you can pretty much open a file using programming. In Java you have file input stream or file output stream. File output stream you can use to create a new file and write to it. And but simple files is okay. But when you want to really manage large data, too many, maybe millions of records, it's very difficult. You cannot do that yourself. There are so many things come into picture. Okay, so transaction management, when it comes to transaction management is a concept again. Transaction is a transaction is nothing but a logical unit of work. Logical unit of work, not the physical unit of work. Meaning, I'll say I'll be talking about it even later as well. But what I would say is, say suppose I have there are two people having accounts in the bank, A and B. Now, if A has to transfer certain amount, say $100 to B. Now, what exactly need to happen? First is to happen debit from A's account, credit to B's account. Now, if the amount is debited from A and is not credited to B, what will happen? It will happen, it will create problem. Either if there is a problem in account, maybe that B's account number is wrong, then maybe the debit schedule should be reverted. So complete transaction either should happen or should not happen. These are called actually like asset properties. Asset means atomic. I'll talk about them: consistency, isolation, and durability. We'll discuss about this. But when you're talking about these kind of features, okay, and also I'll talk about one more thing. Um, um, say now I manage. Suppose I write one file where I say customer. Okay, I write a complete file with customers where maybe I put first name, last name, okay, DOB, maybe SSN, something like this. And maybe that customer may have multiple addresses, and maybe I want to store the addresses into a different file. And in that case, what may happen is a file called maybe address.csv, comma separated values, and maybe the first one we can say CSV, customer.csv. Now here what happens is address.csv, what I would say is maybe first name again, I need to identify him, so maybe last name. Then it comes, address line 1, address line 2, maybe city, zip code or postal code. Okay, something like this. So now if you see, when I need to manage data myself, when I need to put them into separate files because there are different data, or if I write, into single file, in that case also what happens is you will have um, this information. Okay, it will be, if it is a single file, it will be like this. Now if I have multiple addresses, what happens is the same content gets repeated mostly, but the address changes. So what happens is first name, last name, and city, your zip code, that remains same. So that will differ, but the initial data will remain same. So like this. So I'm actually, like, what I'm trying to say is that there will be issues when you try to manage files yourself, data yourself, and when you have large volume of data, you prefer a database system. Now let's enter into a new system, in the sense database. So take example of MySQL or MySQL, and this is actually a tool called MySQL Workbench, where you can design your database system using an interface. So you have to install the software. I'll help you with that. And but then first, to start with, what I say is new model. I say new model and click a diagram. So now this is what, workbench, and this is only specific to the MySQL database. If you are thinking of SQL Server, say Microsoft database, or Oracle or DB2, there are different options altogether. There are different tools. A lot of commercial tools are available as well, and this one is free tool. And if you see this tool, you have, when certain options here. So place a new table, place a new view. For now we'll limit to new table. Perfect. Double click on it, and it says you can edit the name, customer. Now here in the bottom you can see that you can add columns. I'll talk about this. I'll say customer ID, and I want this column to be auto incremented. It's a PK means primary key. I'll talk about these things as well. And first name, one second. Such a fun. Sorry. Yes. I want to have date of birth as date. You can give what is the size of the particular field. When I say varchar, this is nothing but characters. So maybe I want to give 75 for city name, and then postal code. Postal code, I don't think it will be more than 20 for any country, so but I'll let it is less than 10 characters. I'll get 20. And now I did a mistake. This these columns are not required. Delete selected columns. I'll put one more table. I'll put one more table here, and I want to call this as address. And now I need to link these customers. I need to how I will link is that which address belongs to which customer. There is some concept called primary key, foreign key. I'll talk about that as well. What I'll do is I'll do it for now, and then I'll say I give some unique name, customer ID, and oh sorry, I did a mistake. Let it be like this. But actually I need to have a column called customer ID. This should point to this one. Okay, so now I'll talk more about database, but before that I request all of you to download MySQL software. Sujay, are you done with the download? Sujay, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry, I downloaded it, but I didn't run it.
Yeah. Okay. So we will do that.
Can you help?
Yeah. So I request others as well to download this. I'm giving the link in the chat window.
And one more thing, can you tell all our classmates should be on mute mode? I can hear your voice twice and resound.
Okay. So yeah, right. Venki and Sumana, maybe when you are just listening, maybe you can be unmute. And when you are speaking, please unmute and speak. So I gave the link. So please download this particular software. Click download. You don't need to register such as there is an option skip. No thanks. Just take me to the download. And by the way, what operating system you guys are using? Is it Windows 7 or Windows XP? Sorry?
Windows.
Windows XP?
Yeah.
Okay. XP means actually I think okay, there are some prerequisites. You need to have .NET installed, and your operating system should be at least Service Pack 3, Windows XP SP3. So then only you can install this software.
Mine is Windows 7 only.
Windows 7,
Windows
okay.
7 only.
Okay, Windows 7, there's no problem.
Yeah.
There's no problem. So Venki and Sumana, are you getting the link? You're trying to download? You can you can unmute and speak. Sumana? Pinky? I'm not sure whether they are able to hear me. Can you guys, can you hear me? Right. So we need to download the software and maybe okay. I already installed. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Uh, so Suji, can you please install it?
I installed, but I didn't run.
Okay, you installed it. You did not run. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Fine. So what will happen is in the program files, MySQL, you will have MySQL workbench. You know, you will have multiple things. One will be MySQL workbench. You can open. Even you also can open. And this is the tool that I am talking about. There is server as well. There is server. There is this is actually more a designer. This is nothing to do with the database. Just a designer. It generates SQL scripts. Okay. So for me, I need to update. You know, when you install, I think your class path will get updated automatically. Yeah, I need to just you need to update the path variable with MySQL path. Where am I? Server. Yeah. Till this path. You need to update till this path into if you are not able to execute it from command line, you need to do this. And when I do this, okay, and this is a problem in my computer. Somehow it got overridden. MySQL minus u root minus p. So this is how you get connected. What happens is let me exit and show you. MySQL to connect to the database. U means minus u space here username. Usually, like you'll have root as a user and -p, and you should remember what password you are giving at the end of your installation.
Sorry, I can't see your screen.
Oh, you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Hmm. Can you see now?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know. Okay. So there are multiple things. So first thing is you need to get started with the software, and installation. Once all of you confirm installation, we'll go further. You're done with. Are you able to access like this? I'm saying, open your command prompt and type MySQL -u root -p. Then it will ask for password. You need to enter the same password that you gave during installation. This is the command. Okay, fine. So Sumana installation is done. So what download our installation, Sumana? Please install as well. And if you have any doubts, please ask me.
Excuse me, Mr. Prabhakar.
I'm Harinath, Venki. It's ID
Okay.
is Prabhakar, but I'm Harinath. Yes, please go ahead.
Oh. Uh, in my command prompt, it's saying that my SQL is not recognized as an internal or external
Right,
command.
right, exactly. That's what you need to do is once you install, it will go and sit into your program files, right? You will have the path.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I need to create another path variable.
Yeah, you need to add it to the path variable.
Okay.
Path variable will be there already.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Please add this to the path variable and then open a new command window.
Okay.
Then you will get it. I had the same problem just now. That's what I was trying to do earlier.
Okay.
And you remember the password that you gave, right? During installation.
Yes. Yes.
You gave some password to the database?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Sujay, you also remember, right? Are you able to connect?
No, I didn't run the program.
No, you need to try this now.
Okay.
I'll wait, no problem. I will wait.
The path variable should be bin, right?
To the bin, yes.
Okay.
Wherever the executables are there, they will be in the bin folder. So till then you require. Okay. Now, Sujay, are you able to connect?
No, no. I'm doing it.
Okay, you are doing it. Okay.
Carry on, Hari. I'll do
Okay.
it later.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I got a special command prompt for MySQL.
Yes. You see my desktop now. You see the same thing.
Yeah.
You see the same thing.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now once you connect it, you will get this.
Okay.
Once you get this, you will get this particular screen, and from here you execute all the database commands. First thing to start with,
Okay.
I want to see what databases are there already. So
Okay.
show databases. It shows lot of databases for me because I was doing something, and some of them are test databases. Test, World, Shakila, then you have MyDB, MySQL, performance schema. They are actually test schemas. They are or maybe database schemas. They come by default. Okay, show databases. This is the command. Next is, if I want to go to or create a database. Okay, I want to create a brand new database. Create database. Say customer. I created a database. So database is nothing but a collection of tables and data, so and so thing, many things. It's a logical or within the data, within your, once you install MySQL database server, then it will support, you can create a number of databases, one for each of your business requirement. So show databases. When I do this again, now I should see, yeah, customer. Okay, I created customer schema, so I see that. Now use customer. Once use customer means I want to use the particular database. I want to go into the database. Now what I'll say is show tables. Show tables is empty because I just created a simple table just now. Sorry, database, empty database just now, so there are no tables on it. Now, database, usually when we are talking about, especially within the databases, there are multiple type of database systems, but the popularly known one is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. Relational means that basically like RDBMS is all about having tables. Create a table. Create a table. So something like this.
No. It's working.
Yeah, you do it? Huh? Oh yeah?
Now, if you look at this particular data, what you see is that there are columns: customer ID, first name, last name, DOB, SSN, and then there are rows, right? Each row uniquely represents one particular customer in this scenario. One particular customer. Is it clear? Each row represents one customer. And then if you take particular column, say first name, that represents one particular attribute of a customer. Is this clear? A table is simple structure where you have rows and columns. Each row represents your entity, whatever entity you want to represent, one particular instance of it. Meaning if I say customer table, one row represents one customer. And you take any column of a particular row, it represents a particular attribute. If I say first name here, say DS, FD, something I type, that particular value belongs to a customer having an ID called 2. and then similarly, other date of birth or SSN. So the value that you see for any given row for a particular column represents a particular attribute of the business entity, in this case customer. So a database is nothing but tables, collection of tables and so many other things, and each table in relational databases, primarily relational is nothing but you have having a related data or representing data into rows and columns where each row represents a business entity and column represents a particular property attribute. And now you will have a number of in a real life, here in this simple scenario I just have two of them, two attributes, customer and address. In a real life scenario I will have many more tables and lot of data to store. Okay, and then you need to have some relationships, or I'll first start with the primary key concept. See, suppose I'm Harinath, okay, and I'm Harinath. If there are two more people with the same name, suppose if I don't have the customer ID column, if there are multiple people with the same name, what will happen is you will have duplicate data kind of thing. It looks like as if your name is duplicate, okay, and there is no way uniquely to identify the person. If you take a classroom, for that matter, if you take a classroom, if there are two children with the same name, it may happen that your first name and last name also may match, right? So in that case, teacher will have, or other people will have some difficulty in identifying by first name and last name combination. So maybe they will have some pet name, or teacher may prefer roll number, okay, some unique identifier in the classroom. And I remember that in my schooling there used to be one mathematics teacher called Purushottam Reddy, and that guy was he used to remember all the roll numbers. He used to say, hey, number 15 please come here, number 20 please do this. It used to talk something like that. Okay, he was I mean, though it is not the case with every teacher that it is remembering a person and his number all the time, all the batches. Even if I see him, still he may remember my number, maybe after maybe 15-20 years. So so it is that when you have conflict, so to avoid conflict you try to have some attribute that is very unique to them. And in this case I added something called customer ID. And customer ID, while declaring this particular column, I said, look at this, I said AI. I checked something called AI, auto increment. Auto increment means the moment I add one more customer, the column gets incremented automatically, so that it remains unique always. This is called to have unique properties, and that unique column we call that as a primary key. A primary key, and it cannot be empty. It cannot be empty. A non-empty column that is marked as primary key, I mean primary key essentially means that it is non-empty and it is unique always. Okay, so that means that you are trying to add a column that to identify your data in a unique way. Also this concept, the primary key concept, here in this case the customer column is the primary key, and this is used to store the data in some order. There is when your data gets ordered into, say if I have 1 million customers, and now if I say, okay, go and collect me or get me, okay, the customer details having customer ID as 5 lakh or maybe 4444 something. Now database system is optimized that it knows based on this ID where to go and search. Exactly, it will go to the corresponding location on the hard disk and it will get from there. If I have to write a file system, I mean if I have to write the same program using a file programming, then I really don't know how to go there. So what I do is I'll check, row by row, see whether this ID is matching or not. If ID is matching or not, I need to do a lot of lookups, or I need to read complete file and then I return. And if the volume of size of the file is big, then it will obviously take lot of time. Whereas your applications, when you access any application on the website, your email or whatever, your Facebook, okay, so it's very spontaneous, right? Immediately your data comes up. That's because database systems are used. So you need to know about this primary key concept. Primary key is a non-empty unique key per row, okay, column per row, okay. And now let's look at the other table. Now I just I assuming that customer is going to have multiple addresses, maybe office address, house address, or he may have multiple houses, or somehow you will have multiple addresses, okay. In that case, permanent address, present address, something like that. So in that case, I store address into database, okay. Let's have this table. So I have address line 1, address line 2, postal code, city, fine. But then to which customer this address belongs to? To which customer this address belongs to? I'm not going to store all the customer information again in the address table, or dump all these address columns into customer table. Then what will happen is there will be a lot of duplication. So we discussed that. So what we do is we add a column. Now in this case, I added a column called customer ID. I added a column called customer ID and said, I added a foreign key, a key mapping to customer table. Okay. So now a foreign key, you need to understand this concept. A foreign key is a column in a particular table and whose value refers to always to some other table. What happens is that now if you look at this particular scenario, so suppose if I try to give number 5, here it doesn't complain, but when it really executes, see when how do we execute is that you have forward engineer, generate script, schema qualifier. I'll explain this further. Root okay, and before that I'll just let me rename this into edit schema. By default it shows as MyDB, but I want to change it to, and also save this into now I saved this file as well. Okay, let me run this now. I want to execute this into database. Forward engineer, and the option that I'm selecting is that I'm saying omit schema qualifier in object names, generate use, this is also not required but I'm using it, generate insert statements for tables. Click next. You see here, this is the actual script that you are supposed to do. If I have to actually let me do this. In the command prompt, you do this. This is how you type, create table customer and customer ID int not null auto increment first name varchar 45. Null means that it is allows empty. I mean, null actually not even empty. It actually means that nothing. There is no data. You did not insert any data. Let me type this command again. Because that is a tool generated thing. Create table customer ID int not null auto increment. Okay. First I just entered pressed enter, so it comes into next line. Varchar say 45. Maybe if you want null, if you want explicitly, I think this is not required. By default it will be null. Last name varchar 45 comma and DOB date SSN varchar, maybe I don't have 20. So then you close this. Oh, I have an error. Okay, SSN. Okay, I forgot to put a comma after that DOB. This is there. Last name DOB and comma SSN done. Close the bracket. Incorrect table definition. There can be only one auto increment column. Drop table customer.
You're missing comma after SSN.
Now after SSN comma is not required. That being the last one. That's the last column, right? Yeah. I'll just type in Notepad, so that is easy for me. Paste it as a single command. Create customer customer ID int not null auto increment. Okay, then first name varchar 45, last name varchar 45, then DOB date SSN varchar say 20, and then I also have, that's the other thing that I had, it's then comma primary key. To specify primary key, I say that is when this guy said comma primary key customer ID. Close this. Let me say this and okay. I'm pasting whatever I typed in now. Customer int not null auto increment. Drop table. First let me drop this table. Okay. You have an error in your SQL table manual that customer int not null. What is the problem with this? The moment you start working with the tools, then you forget the basics. Sorry, I missed table. I need to tell you that it is a table. There are multiple. When create database is also starts with create. Okay. Sorry, I think there is one bracket that is not required. So this is the command now. This works. Drop table, you will have it anyway. I'll type it. Drop table customer, it is dropped, and whatever I typed in the notepad, I pasted it here. It says query okay, 0 rows affected. Show tables. Now you say, you ask this card, show tables, and you see the table customer, and I want to see what data I have in the customer table. Just describe customer, so that to see what type of columns I have, you can see the description. Okay. And then what else I can do is fine, I can insert data into customer and say what type of values I'm going to insert. First name, last name, DOB, SSN. Okay, or maybe I'll skip the DOB part. Values, SSN, ABCD. Okay. Now this is how you write your insert statements. First, what I do is I say insert into table name, and then optionally you can specify the columns. If you don't specify anything, it will assume that the columns that are declared, in the order in the table, the same order you will be entering the values. Otherwise, you need to specify. I prefer always that you specify the columns. So I say that here I am skipping two columns. One is customer ID is going to be auto incremented, auto generated. Then the DOB will have some format issues. So just to avoid in the beginning, I skip that particular field. So first name, last name, SSN. These are the columns I am going to enter data to. And then I am saying the values. First value is Hari. I am saying that maps to first name. Second one M, I said last name. Then whatever value, third value that I am entering, that DF SDF is nothing but for in the place of SSN. So and then anytime you end your command with a semicolon. Semicolon, that is a delimiter for the database, so that it will understand that okay, fine. So a statement ends here. A statement ends here. Okay. So this is how we actually create database tables, or maybe just let me drop table customer. Okay. And when sometimes you may need to execute some command called commit. When there actually in the database there are two different things I'll talk about, that kind of queries. But this being introduction and how, what database it is, and just getting started with your setup and some basic things. So you need to do this. Okay, let me do this. Connect to the no database selected. And how is the database selection happens? Username is fine, but this is okay. I'll skip this one. Schemas qualifier, so that it uses the schemas qualifier. See here, I think it should go into the correct table. Yeah, see here. I want to show you the foreign key related error. It actually faced an error here. Cannot update or edit a child row. See here, the insert into customer, where I said address. Insert into customer address. Okay, the customer is the database name here. Okay, so database name is also customer, and then says address. It is trying to insert into address table with the customer ID as 5, but because there is no select star from, to get the data we use this command, select star from customer, and I see that customer ID 1 and 2 is there, so there is no customer ID 5. That is the reason you are getting this error. So what I need to do, go back here and change this value. Okay, change this value. When I do this and run this again, before that I need to, you need to always, when you use this insert option, this is like a test data. You need to use this apply changes to the data. You need to do this, and sometimes this happens. Your workbench will crash. It will close. Okay, so fine. Now let me come back. So Sumana, are you done with your installation? If you have problem with the speaker, maybe you can just type in. So Suji, how about you? Are you able to use like this? Whatever I am doing, are you able to do in your computer? Please do that.